Hello everyone and welcome to OnKey How To with Mike Els. Today we will be talking about notifications, one of the features in OnKey that I'm personally really excited about. Alright, it's definitely one of the more advanced features. I'm going to skim through it to get in touch with us if you want to get a deeper understanding. But hopefully this will entice you a little bit and get you excited about the potential that it can offer for you. And yeah, your imagination is the limits with this type of feature. All right. So what is notifications? So basically in OnKey, we can set up a change data trigger. So effectively, it's a trigger that we set up in OnKey that looks out or listens for any changes that occurs. As soon as that trigger happens, then certain things will happen, it will evaluate and so on. But the end result is that a notification is sent to someone or to various people. So think about an asset that moved from your one site to another site. We can have a trigger on that and then send a notification to someone reminding them or just telling them that a certain asset have moved. We can have notifications and triggers that looks at specific work orders that gets created, maybe breakdown work orders, maybe that breakdown work order on that super critical equipment that you're always worried about. You'll get an email notification as soon as a breakdown is logged with that. You can of course have change data triggers and notifications on any alarms. If you are making use of conditional monitoring in OnKey, you can have notifications on any alarms that might go off. If there's maybe any master data changes that's happening within your database, then you can have notifications and triggers around that as well. Right. Let's quickly have a look at the basic building blocks of change data triggers and notifications. So we start off with our change data triggers. Right, I've set up one already, so we're just going to use that as our example. And this specific one is looking at whenever a breakdown work order is created, someone needs to get notified. So this change data trigger is the house basically for our criteria, which we can set up, and then the notification event. So basically these two are linked through our change data trigger. So under criteria, this is what we've got listed. So we just called it again breakdown work order created. We can choose our change type. In this case, it is created. So whenever a new record is created, we've got some other options: deleted, unchanged, and updated. All right, there's our filter expression. So very important. This trigger will only start if the work order, the breakdown work order, is actually a type of work, BRD, breakdown, and it happens on a specific asset. All right. In other examples or other scenarios, we can have an old value expression or new value expression also. You can use that typically if you are changing work order statuses, let's say from approved to planned or to be executed, or where your asset potentially moves between different locations and sites. You can look at the old value and the new value and use that as your trigger. Right, trigger properties. Here we just add the trigger properties that is relevant to this filter expression as well. All right, this is a very basic change data trigger criteria. Next step, after that criteria actually happened, so there's a breakdown work order that was created against a specific asset, as we mentioned, then there needs to be a notification event. That is the email that's going to go out. Right, so here we have linked in the notification template itself, and we call it the email to request about new breakdown work order. We've specified that the entity type is a work order, so that's where the change is going to happen. The output type is an email, and under query we can specify our audience. So who needs to receive this email? We can hard code our audience there at the top, but we can always use the audience query. So in this instance, we will always use the email address that's been specified on the specific work order. You can add different logic. You can always use the email that is specified on the asset, perhaps. or maybe a contract that's linked in some way. So you can have some different options there. Right, then we can specify what type of information based on this work order that we are using will we be using in our email body or template. So this is nice. Here we can pull in specific information around the asset, type of work, asset description, work order code, who's the requester. Perhaps if we've already assigned someone to this work order, we can have that information in there as well. All right, so here we specify the fields that we want to use in the email body. Under templates, here's what your typical email will look like. We have the subject and we have then the body. So in the subject, we have new. Effectively what this is the type of work description, so breakdown, preventative, something like that. Work order logged with code, and then we show the receiver of the email the work order code. Under body, we can have some normal text also, and again we reference things like the type of work description, the work order code, asset description, and the code. We can also add in hyperlinks, which is quite nice. So we can add in a hyperlink there, and as soon as the user opens up his email, he can click on the work order code, and that will take him straight to Onki, and he can view that specific work order. All right, very basic example of how we can set up change data triggers, criteria, and notification events, and notify users or different people about specific events taking place in the database. Right, please share your own ideas how you think you can make use of triggers and notifications. Until next time, thanks for watching Onki How To